Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Gyle here. Welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. Before I get started on today's game, a quick note from Zep. There was a post on the forums in the Galactic War section regarding the name generators for the avatars. He needs as much content as possible, guys. I'll be putting the link below in the description to this video. Please go on there onto the forums and provide as much content in the way of faction names or faction-specific type names. I think we're set for Seraphim because I believe the Colonel Shepard has some kind of funky name generator thing going on, but we need things like American names for the UEF. Cybran names could come from all over, I think, but I don't know, some Russian names, some wherever, all over the place, and then Aeon names. I don't know, it's all on the forums, it's all on the blurb, so you can go on there and check it out. But do help, guys, because he needs our help to make it work. On to today's game. It's going to be a ladder match between clan tags Rock and Chosen. This is just before Chosen actually got selected to join that team. I suppose you could technically say it's an all-tag affair, but it wasn't quite when this was recorded. Anyway, on to the match. It's going to take place on ISIS, quintessentially one of my favorites, so let's crack on and see how these guys are gonna make out. So up here at the top left, we've got Rock in the red corner. He's going Cybran, opening land, couple of P-gens, getting some mechs in play, nothing too shocking there. And then over on the other side, down here on the far right, in the blue corner, we've got Chosen. He's going air first. Interesting. So he's going to make a play with some bombers, we suspect. Probably going to go on an engineer killing mission. Apparently Chosen doesn't like this map. I love this map. I don't know what your problem is. The reason why I like it is it promotes higher tech play. You get a little bit more extended games because it's quite defensible, and it's always fun to see, I think. But it's an interesting choice here from Chosen, deciding to go bomber first. You can see him working on it now. And obviously it kind of makes sense because the first thing that Rock is going to be doing over on this side of the map is extending down to this other start location to pick up this mass. If you can slow that up, at least on paper, that's presumably what he's going to do. He's going to take that penalty in terms of eco that he's going to spend on that first bomber and his slower kind of growth in his base to try and cripple Rock more effectively. But we're already seeing some hunters and a mole on its way over to Chosen's base. So Rock is going with a ground offensive play to try and hamper Chosen. He's going to try and, I presume, sneak it in to the upper base up here as well. So two similar tactics, just using different types of units. And Chosen getting a circle on with this bomber now is very close to engaging on that engineer. We're already seeing the first Sky Slammer out, so that was either very well anticipated from Rock or he saw it coming over from the hunters and the moles, which may have been more likely. And that bomber's already down to 5 hit points. It hasn't even dropped a bomb yet. It would be great if it could bag one of these engineers at the front. That would be a nice maneuver indeed. And of course Chosen's issue is now he hasn't produced a lot. He's a little bit behind, and when he does send engineers up here, they're more than likely going to get hit by these labs. So I think this time round it looks as though Rock's strat may have been more effective. You can see them just curling south now to try and intercept these engineers and on the path that they're coming into this upper base. This one here is just on a little bit of a reclaim mission, but I think he's going to lose 2 of them. This will put Rock nicely ahead in the early game. 1 down. Oh, it needs to pursue. 1 hit point. There it goes. So nice pickup there from Rock. Another engineer. This could be a 3rd engineer going to go down. So 3 engineers for 2 hunters and a mole. That is very cost effective indeed. He's going to run in round the back. He could pick another one up down here potentially. Chosen was trying to pursue with his AC, but look at the difference now in terms of expansion. Rock is by far ahead, getting down here into this bottom section, and Chosen has yet to take a single mass point in this upper location up here on his side of the map. So things going rather poorly, shall we say, for Chosen initially. To see how that pans out later on. So he's gone first air, second land, getting the adjacency bonus. Seems kind of back to front. He's getting the adjacency bonus on the land factory instead of the air factory for that hydrocarbon. It's just the way around it. It's Rock's going more conventional. He's got land first and second, and then I think air third. I think that's the way he went with that. And that will give him a lot better start. I'll take a look at on ecos how that start has affected Chosen. He would look like he was bottlenecking on power there where he had a little bit of mass to use, but he's on 18 mass as opposed to Rock sitting on 26 with almost a full bar. So plenty of room to maneuver, and you've got lots of interceptors now on the field. One bomber from Chosen still circling. Is that the one on 5 hit points? Yes, it is, with 2 kills, so it's picked up a couple of kills on its round. It's not done too badly. Rock now circling those interceptors overhead over the top of Chosen's base, seeing if he can shoot down anything that's going to come off that pad. Of course, Chosen just straining for resources, still completely out of mass. That's why that's being produced so very slowly indeed. I think this is not the start Chosen was hoping for. But he has been trying to counterattack with a few flares. In they come now. Going to pick off a Sky Slammer that was quite far forward on a pretty defensive route. We'll see what route is making his way into the base. There are no other ground units there offensive except for the Sky Slammers. Of course, they can toggle fire to land units. That's one of the things that make them so juicy. I was just having a conversation with Xevo about this very issue, and he says they do have trouble hitting, but not that much trouble. They can take out 3 labs on the run, moving laterally. They're not that bad. Remember, they only do 6 less damage per second than a Mantis for about half the cost. So very effective unit indeed. Not to mention, of course, Cybrin have their Jesters and all sorts of other goodies as well. Lower order magnitude units that the Mantis can assist. So that was my justification for saying that the Cybrin ACU doesn't need a regen buff. It's just a penalty they should have to put up with. But that's in my humble opinion. You know what you think. Anyway, a few Thistles out for Chosen, trying to ward off these interceptors from Rock. Encircling the area, but we've got a drop coming on at the top here that looks like Mantis on that transport. 6 of them. And Chosen coming in with a few inties, but he's going after Rock's inties instead of the transport. That Skyhook is going to land. All 6 of those Mantis make it down. It just goes to show you, actually, you don't need to be dropping with artillery. It can be just as effective in certain situations to drop with your basic offensive T1 tank or bot, depending on your race of choice. He looks like he's going to pick up all 4 mass points, or at least a good proportion of them by the time that reinforcements arrive. Chosen's got a few Auroras there. Realizes he's probably not going to save any of the mass points, so he's not going to go tearing in and risk more Auroras when he needs. He's going to hang back by this Eruptor that's going up very quickly. And now Rock is going to engage. Obviously those Mantis aren't going to get out of there, so just seeing what he can do with them. But all of the mass points down for Chosen, and another Skyhook coming in with another 6 Mantis. So Rock taking some very early initiative here. I like this play very much indeed. Chosen definitely behind at the 8-minute mark. Aurora's moving in to tidy up that Mantis that was sitting by that rear mass point. Another 6 Mantis on the move. It's going to come down here. Unfortunately, that's not an Eruptor, that's a Seeker, the static anti-air. If it had been, these Mantis would be in big trouble, but it looks like they're probably going to grab this Engineer kill. And again, that will slow up the expansion on these mass points. Oh, doesn't want to stray into range of that PD. Wants to get potentially that mass point as well. I think that's the most he's going to be able to get from now. Another Seeker. Rock's just ferrying units in. He's going to lose it now to Chosen's inties, but another 6 Mantis on the ground, and there's every possibility he could kill out these 3 mass points and these 2 engineers again. Once again holding Chosen back. Chosen, meanwhile, has got his ACU in the middle at the bottom aperture, although it seems like he's on the move. He's just on a little bit of a reclaim mission for the moment. We are seeing T2 tech out from Rock in the form of, the moment, just T2 engineers, no T2 offensive units that I can see. He's going to get out the front, and he's starting on some Cerberus turrets at the main base. Make sure he's nice and protected back there in the rear section. And again, engineers going down along with the mass points. Chosen not looking comfortable at the 10-minute mark, so he's on what looks like around 42, 43 mass Chosen, as opposed to, kind of difficult to tell because the huge amount of reclaims going on. It's like 50 odd for Rock. So Rock obviously considerably happier place at the moment than Chosen. forges a little bit of an engagement there. Force has chosen to back off a little bit. Neither guy wanting to invest fully. And still 5 mass points unclaimed in this section thanks to those drops. Rock definitely got this game by the scruff at the moment. Got some TMD going up at Chosen's base, concerned about strikes, so I wonder if he's seen something. He has seen something. There's a TAC missile launcher up here for Rock. That's well in range, you can see, of Chosen's base, so he must have got a scout on that. Seems very impromptu. I mean, I suppose it potentially could have been luck, but of course if Rock doesn't decide to go for this main base, he can go in there and snag all these once again delaying Chosen's expansion. Needs to get some TMD up in here. I mean, Aeon TMD is pimp, we all know it in certain situations, but it's doesn't have that kind of range. And down here, this little forward base from Chosen is getting literally run over by a horde of Mantis. Going to take out that factory. Like about 6 or 7 Auroras, about 4 T1P gens have bitten the dust in that bottom section down here, and a little bit of an air fight at the back of Chosen's base, which looks like Rock's winning. So Rock really is all over this. Chosen is kind of hemmed into his side of the map. Hasn't got these mass points up here. He's finally getting the mass points up here at the main base. Take another quick look at the eco. Rock is floating half a bar of mass as well. He's sitting on about 60 at the moment. Chosen is reclaiming something of great import. Actually, he doesn't seem to be going up that much. What's going on there? He's must have been teching up mass points like crazy in his base. So actually Chosen isn't that far behind on eco, surprisingly. It's one of the interesting aspects when you're playing a map like this. You have a little bit more mass than you would do on the smaller maps if you invest wisely in eco. So despite losing quite significantly in terms of map control, Chosen has managed to keep up nicely. I'm liking the mix of the shield gen in here as well for Chosen. And we've got TAC missiles coming in now. Looks like it's going straight after that power plant. Boom! That's something Chosen doesn't want to lose. We'll see if that affects his power. It doesn't. He has power to spare, so that's not going to be hurting him too much. But he's jumped straight to T3 land. The only T2 units I see on the field are this Ascendant, the T2 flak mobile for Aeon, and of course the Asylum, the shield gen. He hasn't bothered with any Obsidian tanks or anything like that. He's gone straight for Harbingers. And that's an interesting format. We're still seeing just T2 on the ground for Rock. He's got some Cerberus turrets back there. Obviously, Chosen pretty keen to get rid of this TAC missile launcher. And if he can put some damage and fire on Rock's comm, that will be welcome as well. Lots and lots of crossfire happening over this base. I like the idea of the wall sections as well. That will slow down any stream coming off that. More Cerberus turrets going up at the front. Rock's just standing there with his comm. He doesn't give two about this engagement. He's not fussed at all. He's just sitting there saying whatever, but maybe he should do. He's getting bumped on his Mantis down to 3,700 hit points, taking more fire as well from some forward Harbingers. That was a little bit scary. Got Rock into the red there, down to about 2,800 HP, but still those TAC missiles continue to fire. It looks like they are indeed going over to this side, but a TND goes up just in time to deflect that. There was another one back here as well, actually. Chosen not in so much trouble now as he was before, and he's moved down to reclaim the bottom. You've got this steady stream of T1 units coming in that way, but 2 Harbingers will deal with that no problem. There's quite a large group of rhinos sitting up here at the top defending these 2 mass points. And that large group of units that Chosen had assembled looking rather thin now. Lots of T1 bombers out on the field for Rock. Still not seeing any air tech. He has made the transition to T3 land as well, having seen the Harbingers, and that's something that's quite interesting about this map, and that's why I think when you're playing it in the 1v1 format you need to be going quite heavy on the air front, purely because you make the tech switch on land, your opponent has a lot of resources and a long time to see you coming. Of course, it's not a 5k map, it's a 10x5, so the amount of travel time it takes, and it's going to have engagements in the middle of the map. They're going to see those T3 units. They're going to be able to tech up before you get to any dangerous position. And if you've got decent air coverage, it's going to make your life a lot easier. It's a lot more flexible for you. Harbinger needs to back up though for Chosen, taking a lot of Cerberus fire, strayed a little bit too close to the aperture. A little base that seems to be very immobile from Rock, saying it's literally he's not going anywhere. A couple of engineers just working on the side mass points, finally claiming them in the name of Chosen. And a few units now coming onto this side, so finally, since that first little flare engagement over here, we're seeing some aggression on Rock's side of the map. But we have got bricks in the mix now. And they're heading south, trying to intercept this little blob. Also got deceivers in the mix as well. So once again, seeing the full array of Cybran goodies. Take a look at how that seems to Chosen. He's got no radar coverage over there whatsoever. So might as well not be their deceivers, but I applaud the idea. Certainly if it moves on, it'll be interesting. And what happened there? Rock seemed to be taken by surprise. He didn't seem to like that at all. Expected these units to come tearing into the base. Didn't want to run by on the cards, although I think he was pretty safe. He had some Cerberus turrets, but it does mean he's lost an extra 2 mass points, that radar system. Maybe he just wanted to get the brick reinforcements, which are now coming in for Rock. Chosen with some nice little bit of micro there, avoiding some of the shots. Oh. Trouble is, there's a great big mountain in your way now, Chosen, and you're heading towards a base with T2PD in place. They will slowly shred those harbs. That will be the end of that forward little group. Still, it's taken, it's got Rock to stop and think. Got T3 mass extractors going up now for Chosen. Take a look at how these guys look actually on eco. 140 something for Chosen, 150 something for Rock, so not a great deal between them. Mass point going to go down here for Chosen from a nice little push with some expendable Mantis. Still very low tech in the air though. Got to feel a tech switch to that would have given either of these guys a real opportunity to hem the other person in their base, taking out all this mass points with some gunships. Bricks now moving forward from Rock onto that side of the map, Chosen side. Mantis having a great deal of success. This little forward group looks like 3 mass points they've taken out now, going for a 4th, but runs into a superior group, unfortunately for them. It's got Harbingers in there, some expendable scouting interceptors, just to take a look at what's going on with Chosen's Air Force. But Rock's Air Force is considerably bigger. Doesn't want to get caught with them behind him though. Just taking a look at actually what Rock's got in terms of radar coverage. Not a lot. Looks like he's got some kind of T2 coverage going on.
Transport is full.
Perhaps it's a little bit further than that. That seems to be it there, but this seems to be the end of Chosen's Air Force, and I really do think this could be crucial. Got a Dragonfly now out for Rock, a T2 transport coming over here, and there are bricks over here, and if those bricks get into the back, he's already made a drop. There are some Oblivion turrets in place. 1 down, 2 down. And get hold of this second one, he'll be in good shape, Rock, but he gets another transport in there. And that's very annoying indeed for Chosen. Looks like he's going to lose a bunch of mass points again. This time they're all T2. And once again, Rock slows up his opponent's aggression. I dropped very important indeed. He may have overcooked it on the amount of transports he was making. See 4 of them kicking out down there, more coming in, lifting in the remnants of those bricks. just one left. Backing away up here on the right. If he can pull it down the right-hand side now, he can do some pretty nice damage. Chosen's trying to counter with Spectres. The only problem is he's got a much weaker Air Force, which has just been decimated by Rock's Interceptors. I'll be able to deal with that Spectre, no problems. Down he goes. Bricks still on course to do some damage, but they've finally been cornered by this group here. He's got Harbingers in the mix. Some T1 artillery. The Fervors. Still, all the time, these constant little attacks are depleting Chosen's reserves. Rock is still sitting pretty on all of his mass, and Chosen is down. And Chosen's actually started a GC and an upgrade and a T3 mechs upgrade. So lots of construction going on for Chosen. There's also a monkey that's half done for Rock. So we've definitely hit the T4 phase of this game as we're just about to pass the 25-minute mark. And Rock has clearly spied the GC as he announces in chat, is it ready yet? No, sir, it is far from ready. 22,000 hit points and climbing. A long way to go yet. Chosen needs to do something to get back in this game. Quite sure what it's going to be. He's behind the race in terms of experimentals. GC may well be able to deal with one Monkey Lord, but Rock will easily be able to get another one out by the time a GC arrives. Maybe even 3, depending on his priorities. That is a bad place to land. One Interceptor takes a breather right in front of a brick and gets a plasma blast through its cockpit window. Chosen now trying to work on power. You can see him bottlenecking hard, all of the shields blinking on and off in his base. Must have had reserves of mass. You can see there it is, but it's falling now down to 4,500. Once that hits 0, of course, you imagine his power troubles will be lessened. He's actually spamming up quite nicely. Decent amount of power generation, which is quite surprising. It doesn't look like he's got that much. Get that GC up at the rate it's going. It's quite impressive. And the Monkey Lord is on the move from Rock, heading towards the middle from his main base. Has he started a second one? That's the question. Feel like he's going to need it, not for the moment, but he has got T3 air in play. There rolls off what I think is the first T3 interceptor for him, but Chosen is also at T3 air. You can see a couple of spy planes just hovering over Rock's main. Now GC online for Chosen, going to make his way towards the middle, and Chosen finally going to complete that upgrade now that he's got some eco back. See what that actually was. Going to be the T3 engineering suite, I believe. Lots of build capacity on that T3 factory for Chosen. And that GC has been well and truly spotted, along with quite a nasty group of supporting units. You've got Harbingers in there, lots of T1. So some ascendants, so that'll go some way to affording the Colossus some protection. It's a shame there aren't any shield gens in there. No asylums in the mix. And the band of troops that was kind of guarding that bottom aperture for Rock is going to withdraw back to his main base, which is pretty sensible, to be honest. He hasn't got anything in the vicinity that can deal with that kind of firepower. Where did that Monkey Lord go? It's kind of chilling over here to the right. There's another Monkey Lord half done, which is why I thought he would have started it a little bit earlier. He could have clearly got that done, but didn't want to have any disadvantage in the air, which I agree it's very important. So he upgraded, spent that mass upgrading that factory and getting a couple of ASFs on the board. Looks like we are now squaring up for a ruckus. Some impeding wall sections have gone down for Rock, which I like as well. Force any trajectory around those, except of course for the GC, which will just step over it. But how long on that Monkey Lord? This is going to be critical. Not long at all. So that is going to be out long before that GC gets to affect any penetration on the main base. It's making contact with the front now, hoovering up some of the bricks. Monkey Lord moving into position, going to knock this back a notch. Microwave laser needs to fire, and they exchange beams. The Monkey Lord will go down first. The GC will be taking additional fire from those Cerberus turrets right behind it. Of course, you've got the Harbingers in there supporting. That's quite a lot of extra damage. And don't forget the T1 Arty, which is firing at very stationary targets, not wanting to move that Monkey Lord in case that very erratic mega laser on top of it decides to go after something else, which it might do. You can see Monkey Lord coming in from behind, and that will probably be the end of the GC. I don't think he's got any damage in there to deal with it. Chosen saying, what the hell, where did that come from? Surprise. That gives a nice little boost. I think that Monkey Lord will survive. It'll get a nice little bit of veterancy probably from all of these lower units, and Chosen wisely pops them all. Control K's the lot, doesn't want to afford Rock any extra veterancy. That's something you just don't see from the smaller players. That's very wise thinking. You're not going to do any significant damage to that Monkey Lord. Why give him extra kills when it's going to make that experimental stronger? So just box them and kill them, which is what he did, which is very wise indeed. Chosen just withdrawing with it's a shame those ascendants those asylums weren't in that mix earlier. Chosen could have really done with them. That might have made some difference to all of that. You can imagine if all of that was placed in front of the GC, he probably would have had the hit points maybe to finish off that Monkey Lord as well. That might have made things different. Of course, the problem is now Rock was doing so well before. Look at all the mass that's on his doorstep. He's got half his Monkey Lord back, but he's also got half the GC that Chosen's just gifted him. And that is the risk with attacking with experimentals. It's a huge gift if you don't do any damage with them. We've got one Serenity, one T3 mobile artillery for Aeon just chilling by this mass point, which Chosen is still yet to grab actually. Got a few more coming out, so he's definitely trying to range this base now. Take it out of play. You should be able to do that without any trouble. There's virtually no big build capacity in the area, so nothing to build up any kind of D. And also nothing in the area to come and take those out. And another Monkey Lord online, no doubt helped by that mass. And look how quickly Rock has been able to grab a Megabot, well, at least grabbing a Megabot. He's up to 23,000 HP already. And knock that back up to +1. What are we at down here? We've got a Strat missile launcher going up for Chosen. So Chosen trying to switch things up, trying to grab a nuke. Question is, has that been spotted? If we take a look at Rock, when was the last time he scouted? We don't know. Of course, it wouldn't actually show up, I don't think, on that kind of thing until it's built. So he may well have already spotted it, or spotted it going down on a previous pass. Take a look down here. We haven't got any nuke defense on that side. If I'm seeing any in Rock's main base either. So it could potentially change things around if he gets a nice nuke in there. Of course, trying to sneak a nuke in against a player like Rock is never easy. So much build capacity, and Chosen going pretty hardcore restorers as well. He's got a decent amount of ASFs in the air, which is exactly what he kind of needs to be doing, because you've got to deal with these experimentals. Gunships are excellent way of doing so, as long as you have air control and you're not going to get swarmed by opposing ASFs, but that Megabot is now on his way, so there's 2 monkeys and a megalith. That's a very nasty group of units indeed. See where he's actually set that rally point to, so it's actually the other side of the northern aperture. That base has been completely decimated now by artillery. One little engineer trying to get his job done in the toughest of circumstances eats an artillery shell to the face. No turkey for him when he gets back to the barracks. Radar station's going down, so I imagine Rock has some kind of decent intel at this point. We'll take a look at what he can see. He doesn't, so there's no Omni up for these guys. Of course, it's pretty significant investment into power, and these guys, I know it's the 35-minute mark, but these guys have been pretty non-stop at each other. Definitely could do with getting some Omni up, though. Still not answers on a postcard. If you can see, he has queued it up, I think. It looks like that's a Strat missile defense going down. Yes, it is. So that the nuke has been spotted on a previous pass, and it's literally done nothing on that first missile. So I think Rock is probably going to be okay. Could do with getting one down here, though. Of course, this is all wide open. It's only T2, but nonetheless, mass that you wouldn't want to lose unnecessarily. And Restore is now coming in for Chosen, going to work on the first Monkey Lord, which is 38 kills to his name, but not a lot of hit points in return, and that's going to go down without too much trouble. And then going to work on the second one as that flees for home. Pretty significant air battle going on overhead. Rock could do with having a few more interceptors. He's got slightly more than Chosen, but of course with the Restorers in there, they're very tanky and they do a lot of damage to ASFs as well. That Monkey Lord is not got the air coverage to protect it. It's going to go down. Chosen feels job done. Hasn't quite got enough Restorers and ASFs to push on any further. He's going to return, but that's 2 Monkey Lords down. That's a pretty significant threat neutralized. And look how many engineers Rock has got in his base. That's insane, yo. How many are we looking at? We are looking at like 190 odd engineers. That's mental. Absolutely mental. You can see why some people are looking for alternatives. Nuke still on the way. He's not assisting it, not giving it unnecessary amounts of build power. Chosen coming in for another attack. Needs to be careful though. There's lots of bangers on the ground now. Doesn't want to fly over those if he can help it. Most of Chosen's eco now is definitely going into Restorer spam. Rock is going to counter with ever increasing amounts of ASFs. It's quite a significant blob on the ground once again for Chosen. That's what I do like about these two guys, is their unit compositions are excellent, and it's not just, okay, now we're in experimental phase, I'm going to expand experimentals, not do anything else. It's a full range of units. Oh, Chosen, you must wish you had a few more Restorers in there. That Megalith, so many HP on the Megalith. And he's guarded by so many bangers now. He's not going to be able to get anything done with Restorers with those kicking around. How many bangers has he got in that mix? It's 21 on the field. Looks to be at least 15 or so around the Megalith or in the near vicinity. Now Bricks charging, no, not Bricks, sorry, Loyalists charging through the gap. Going straight after Chosen's blob. So much shield coverage on Chosen's units. That's insane. A few T1 units straying out the front of the bubbles will probably get cleaned up without too much difficulty. We've got a Scathis going down for Rock in the middle of his base. One of the few maps where the Scathis is actually useful, can be useful. If he gets that built, that could be GG for Chosen. Unless he can deal with it somehow. I mean, he's been behind generally on Air Force most of the game. Hasn't been able to lock down the air. He's had lots of Restorers out, but he hasn't been able to freely move with them. Loyalists, you can see going down, of course, that shockwave, that EMP temporarily disabling nearby units. Lots of stuff going on over the top of this Megabot. They're primarying the bangers first. I think Chosen just lost a hell of a lot of restorers in that mix. Can now at least pursue the Megalith a little bit. Obviously, that is his primary concern right now. And unfortunately, Rock did stop producing the bangers. If he'd had a continuous stream coming in, you can see he started them again. They're on their way. He's trying to counter those restorers again with ASFs. I think he will manage it this time. Gradually those numbers depleting. Chosen really is firing pretty much everything he's got at that Megalith. He's coming in with Mercies as well, trying to take down as many of those hit points as he can. So much fire coming off in every direction. It's just unreal. Finally, Chosen is forced to back up again with the Megalith in tow. He's on 55k HP with 65 kills. And it looked like he was producing an engineer from it, which of course is such a handy little aspect of the Megalith. At any time it can start producing things on the field, start producing units, start spitting out engineers, which of course can reclaim all this. So Rock really getting down on the reclaim. I'm interested to see who's done best. Rock must be a mile ahead. 78,000 mass Rock has grabbed on the reclaim as opposed to the 33,000. Of course, part of that is the fact that we've had so much mass dumped on Rock's doorstep, but there goes the nuke. Where is it going is the question. Rock says no. I think he knows where it's going. It looks like it's going down here. He had produced a strat missile D, but it hasn't got any missiles in it. And that will be a lot of build capacity that's about to go up, and a lot of general defenses and mass points. Oh, that stings. So Chosen hits back with a nicely placed nuke. Very nice indeed. Scathis, though, look how well that's been coming along, up to 15k of the 17.5k HP. Not long to go on that, and then Chosen will be stuffed unless he can take it out with a restorer or a strap-on rush or something. Just have to see as this game passes 43 in-game minutes. Still sticking with the restorers. He's got to be concerned about that Megalith as it continues to approach. You can see the engineers just having a field day on the reclaim up there. And once again, of course, Megalith has got a bunch of bangers kicking around it. It's giving it excellent defensive coverage. He's keeping them just behind the Megalith so that you can't get any kind of artillery barrage dealing with them too easily, but when the restorers come in, he can move those forward to deal with it. Considerably more ASFs on the field, though, for Rock than Chosen. Knocking this back up to +1. We've got a bank of TAC missile launchers, actually, right at the front. Look how many were queued up. That was probably in preparation for a snipe. Presumably Chosen feeling like the number of options that are available to him are diminishing rapidly. Scathis is on the move. If that's what he's thinking, he couldn't be more right. Oh, no, no, no. You're in so much trouble, Chosen. And, hup. You're so screwed. And we'll see where that's going as the first shells begin to land. Arc on those are so very high. Impacting immediately on the shields at the front of Chosen's base. He must just think, oh, no. But why not? You've got to expect it these days. The current, oh my god. Rock calling out Scathis. You've got to expect it, though. Facing a Cybern on the map like this, going to this length of time, if you haven't scouted it, got to expect it's coming. It's one of the few maps where it really works at the moment with the current settings. I know it's under review at the moment. Definitely something you guys want to check out and get involved in the dialogue on, see what you think. My own personal preference on the survey was to have it switch back to the original Scathis. I just don't think it's actually viable to take it out of that full game ender status, the Scathis, and have it changed into something else. It's just too much of a difficult item. And this is a desperation push now from Chosen, forcing his way through the top aperture, but there's really nothing he can do. Scathis move forward a bit? Seems like it might have. It's going right into the back of Chosen's base, and it's primarying the power. Chosen is standing in a very ill-advised place indeed. Got a couple of support commanders with him, trying to get shield gens up as quickly as possible, but he's standing right next to a T3 power gen, which is very volatile. Oh, your base is such a mess. Tidy it up immediately. And you can see the power problems he's starting to have as slowly but surely those power generators go down. And that group of units has been completely depleted. I would say that's probably GG. And just as I say that, an artillery shell lands on Chosen's face. Very nicely done indeed. Rock seem to be ahead in that from beginning to end. But I hope you enjoyed that, guys. I know I did promise as well a little Aeon splash screen. It is coming. It is coming. People keep saying in the comment section, why do we have this as racialist? Why do we not have any kind of Aeon or Seraphim splash? It's coming. It's coming. I was going to get it done today, but I ran out of time. Anyway, in the meantime, guys, stay well, stay safe. This is Gyle signing out.